What's up everybody, it's me E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and today we're going to kick it into high gear and review the 9th installment in the Fast Saga, F9. Let's get right into a quick intro. Dom has got some more family drama to resolve as we find out that his not-so-little brother has teamed up with his former nemesis, Cypher. It's up to the Fast family to once again save the entire world. Okay, enough of that, let's get right into the good.
The good.
As expected, Fast 9 does deliver when it comes to the jaw-dropping stunts and action. Clearly, car lives don't matter had to be the mantra of this movie because every single car had to have been hurled around with absolutely no regard. And trust me, it was an awesome sight to see. The new technology that the Fast team utilizes was nicely incorporated into the stunts as well. The fight scenes and car chases were also very thrilling. My favorite part was the opening sequence of the movie with all of the explosion. That was definitely captivating, and those explosive moments are going to keep you on the edge of your seat. As for the story, two positives here are the nice reunions and the callbacks to the previous film. As advertised, we do get a special reunion of a fan favorite character that contributes to the plot of the story. I also appreciated the flashback moments in the movie, mainly because it helps to add a little bit more depth to both Dom and Jakob's characters. And I have to say, it was such a nice treat to get back to the street racing element that started the franchise. We even got some meta level jokes with the film poking fun at itself. Roman probably had some of the funniest moments in the movie with his commentary on the ridiculousness of the adventures that the Fast family endures. Okay, enough of that, let's get on to the bad.
The bad.
While the big budget stunts are really fun to watch, some of them just made absolutely no sense. And I'm not even talking about the ones that defy the law of physics. I'm talking about the ones that defy the laws of just plain logic. I mean, we have stunts in this movie that were just put in there just for the sake of having stunts. It's one thing to make a stunt outlandish, but it's another thing to just do things just because. For example, there's a scene where characters just randomly jump out of a window from a 3-story building. They didn't know what was on the ground level, they didn't know where they were going, it wasn't like a planned jump or anything like that. They just jumped out just for the sake of jumping because it looks cool. But in addition to that, even if this movie does poke fun at itself, it still takes itself seriously when it comes to the story. And that's what makes this get even weirder. I mean, either you commit to just being a full-on comedy or a high action stakes thriller. It's not impossible to be both, but the execution in this movie missed the mark. I mean, look, when you think about it, there's really no reason why some of these characters in this movie should even be alive. Like, I don't even think they're real people anymore. Anyway, we have got to talk about the next bad thing, and that is the acting. I mean, there were just some moments in here where the acting was just kind of cringe-worthy. Vin Diesel and John Cena simply don't deliver with their performances here. All the tight-faced drama between the two simply didn't land. Sometimes their overacting made them look more constipated than emotionally hurt. Also, for whatever reason, Vin Diesel just has to always find a way to flex in almost every scene he's in. It just gets kind of awkward, especially when this film unnecessarily turns him into like the Incredible Hulk. And if you're vaguely familiar with the biblical story of Samson, then you'll know what scene I'm talking about. Now, as for one minor issue, I think the marketing of this film does kind of go a little bit too far because it does end up spoiling the reveal of Han's return. Now, the problem is the fact that Han's return is crafted within the film as a big surprise. However, that surprise element is obviously negated when the trailers, movie posters, and big promotional events announce it ahead of time. While it isn't the worst thing in this movie at all, it's just sad to know that we had a real opportunity to be really surprised and that just got ruined. Actually, speaking of Han, he's another reminder of the poor writing in this film. Obviously, with his return being widely advertised, the biggest question is, how did he survive his apparent death in the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift movie? Unfortunately, the answer that is provided to us just comes off as lazy writing, and it's not that interesting. It was a bit of a letdown for me because the way he appeared to die in the Tokyo Drift movie seemed really hard to explain his return in this film. For whatever reason, F9 just simply couldn't explain Han's return very well, even with their Harry Potter-like excuse. But enough of that, let's get on to the reason.
The reason.
F9 is probably the weakest of all the Fast and Furious films in the franchise. This 9th installment has taken the franchise down a path of being more of a joke than it even intends to be. At this point, F9 is just a live-action cartoon that requires you to definitely turn your brain all the way off in order to enjoy it. But let me be more clear, if you're a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, you're going to be entertained by this movie regardless of whatever flaws it might have. And a lot of that, in my opinion, is because this movie is benefiting from the Tyler Perry effect. But let me explain. The Tyler Perry effect is what happens when a movie's primary directive is to create content that only appeals to the core fans of the fan base. At the same time, any and all flaws that could make the movie technically better or maybe even attract a wider audience are all completely ignored. For example, some people may criticize Tyler Perry's movies by having bad wigs or having overly dramatic stereotypical characters. However, Mr. Perry disregards the constructive criticism because his fan base ignores it too. So, as long as the fans are happy, that's all that matters. F9 falls into the same situation. Despite the plethora of flaws called out in the writing, acting, directing, or just plain lack of logic, the film still continues to churn out a level of fan service that enables the fan base to be happy regardless. And you know what? That's okay. It's totally fine for a film franchise to cater to its fans, even if that's at the risk of not trying to attract more people. I mean, it's kind of like if Tyler Perry movies don't appeal to you for whatever reason, just skip them. And it's the same thing here with the Fast and Furious franchise. So when it comes to the rating for F9, I've got to give it a 6 out of 10. As I said earlier, I kind of feel like this is like the lowest of the movies in the franchise. I mean, I probably would watch Tokyo Drift before I'd rewatch this movie again. Now, in my opinion, I really thought that the franchise should have stopped maybe around Fast 6 or even Fast 7 when Paul Walker passed away. I just thought that the way that they handled, his final tribute and everything, that would have been the perfect way to like just kind of go out on top. But given like this new, really exaggerated direction that they're taking the franchise, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really going to be up to you whether or not that's what you want to see or not. So if you like the wild and crazy stunts and the ever consistent theme of family, then this is a movie you're going to want to see. And by the way, because of the crazy stunts and the huge amount of action, I would recommend going to see it in theaters. Now, of course, if you're tired of all the over-the-top stuff that has happened in the previous movies, then you might want to actually wait to see this on streaming instead. So, do you plan on watching F9? If and when you do, come on back to this video and let me know what you thought about it. Anyway, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video. Are you new to my channel? Be sure to check out some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and tell a friend. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.